Okay, I read you that last one so I can read you this one.
All right.
I haven't done any collecting as of late. I really haven't had the money to, but there is a new line of figures that has caught my attention, and this is a little bit about them. It's called I Know What I Like. The brand name couldn't have been more perfect. Reaction figures. A reaction to the more detailed and articulated figures of the day. They perfectly capture the look and feel of the action figures kids played with and collected back in the 70s and 80s, myself included. They're even packaged in the old-style blister cards with the reaction logo done in the font and color of Kenner, producer of one of the most influential toy lines of all time, Star Wars. The figures for Alien and the Rocketeer at Walmart piqued my interest, and then the display at Barnes & Noble caused me to have a full-on geek out. Characters from Firefly, Back to the Future, Predator, the Terminator, and the classic Universal monsters, all done in the retro style. The coolness of these figures really hit me. And then I remembered what happens when I like things. One of two things, sometimes both. The first thing, they get canceled or discontinued. Monster Energy drinks had two flavors in their Java line that became my favorites, chai and some type of Russian drink. Those two I bought the most out of all the Java drinks, and then they stopped making them. Out of all the energy drinks Rockstar produces, they only made one relaxation drink, and apparently I was the only one that drank it. It worked very well for me, sometimes a little too well. Then it was gone. I must have been the only one that wanted to relax. I told some coworkers of mine once about how any TV show I take a fancy to gets canceled. They forbade me to start watching Lost. Or the second thing that happens, they get declared wrong. I don't mean in the moral sense. I mean in the sense of someone doesn't like it, regardless of what it is, therefore it's wrong. And I'm wrong for taking an interest in it, ascribing any value to it, and telling others about it. I'm not allowed to tell anyone at work about my church's upcoming Christmas program because, in the words of my boss, all it takes is one person to complain. I'm not allowed to show anyone my old obscure movies, especially if they're in black and white. They'll make you shut it off so they can put on their pretentious art house movies that they won't even bother watching. And yes, it still bothers me that I invited a former coworker to hear me read at an open mic night at Barnes & Noble, and she reported me for sexually harassing her. I'm well aware that my tastes are on the eclectic side, and I'm perfectly okay with that. What people choose to do is their own business, as is what I choose to do. I can only share my interest with others, and theirs with me. Hopefully we can find some common ground. So the vintage action figures are a welcome sight. I just hope the kid I saw with the Terminator figure realizes it's an adult collectible, not a toy, as it clearly states on the upper right corner of the card. My church is having its annual Christmas cantata December 21st at Victory Baptist Church in New Lenox. All are welcome to attend. And my writers group is having its second open mic night at... I see you already heard Before, I don't write in my journal as often as some people do. I envy people that can write stuff almost every day. I don't. I have to wait until something strikes me, and then I write it down. So earlier this year, we lost the very talented Mr. Robin Williams, and these were my thoughts as on his passing. I call this the scary funny man. It wasn't supposed to be funny. He wasn't supposed to be funny. The spastic man in the red jumpsuit with the silver gloves and boots came to Earth to abduct Richie Cunningham and take him back to his planet for 2,000 Earth years, and he acted like a complete maniac about it, and the studio audience was laughing? Not so fast, bucko. Naturally, Fonzie came to the rescue, but even he proved no match for the bizarre alien who ended up taking him instead. And then it all turned out to be Richie's bad dream. I always hated sitcom nightmares. They tried to be funny and ended up making things more frightening. But the scary, funny alien proved so popular, they gave him his own show with a female co-star. This nut job would be paired up with a woman? Fonzie and Richie weren't safe with it. What made everybody else think she would be? Okay, all right. It was only a TV show, I'd like no. And so I watched the episode where the alien mentally regressed himself into a baby. To this day, I'm still occasionally tormented by the image of him bawling at the window, watching his mommy leave to go on a date. Separation anxiety. There's nothing else like it. I did watch a few other episodes. He celebrated his first Christmas, got captured by Raquel Welch, and gave emotions to a robot, played by Robbie the Robot and voiced by Roddy McDowell. He became less scary, and I started enjoying the funny. He showed up in other things, too. I enjoyed him in Popeye, apparently one of the few that did, and the TV special he hosted about alien movies to promote E.T. Very fitting. Then I saw his HBO comedy specials where he became unleashed and showed an intensity that made him even more maniacal. He got a little bit scary again. I watched the entire 4th season where he and his female friend got married, honeymooned on his unimpressive home planet, and gave birth to his son, played by Jonathan Winters. I smelled the desperation in the air, and I knew things were winding down. His family got attacked by an evil alien, and he and his wife escaped through time to the Stone Age. I don't remember where their son went. The series ended with them soaring through the time vortex, or at least chroma keyed in front of Doctor Who's opening credits, declaring their love for each other. Cut to a cave painting of them under a sun and a rainbow. The end. The scary funny man still popped up from time to time. He played the King of the Moon, a nonconformist poetry teacher, a divorced father disguised as an old woman, and the blue-skinned, shape-shifting genie of Aladdin's lamp. Spastic and maniacal as always, but the teacher and disguised father were more subdued. He did know how to rein himself in. He really reined himself in with 1 Hour Photo. I always figured he could play an excellent psychopathic villain, but he did so in a very subdued manner. More tragic and sympathetic than scary. Well done. You're only given a little spark of madness, he once said. You mustn't lose it. I know about that little spark of madness only too well. That spark can grow into a flame if you keep working at it. That flame can keep growing and can warm you and everyone around you. And if you aren't careful, it can grow out of control and burn you alive. It's even worse when the flames are fanned by those abusing you and exploiting you. Now that's scary. Is that what happened to him? Sad. Good night, scary, funny man. I am sorry, and I will miss you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful evening.